I'm being hard on you because I want you to understand, like, why are you doing this? You're building a profitable job. So when you come to retire, you are selling yourself, which no one wants to buy. You need to have a commercially profitable enterprise that works without you in it. This is classic business owner problems here, is the word why. Yeah. Why do you want larger events? Why do you want bigger premises? So we do a really simple chart. So basically what you're doing is what I call battle planning. It's called battle planning mentality without a war plan. So you're like, well, we need a bigger shop. Right, let's fight that battle. But why do we need a bigger shop? You know, like, we need bigger quality brand. Well, why do we need to do that? The only good thing that sort of a finish date thing is you said it runs itself. That's the only good thing that you've said, because that's a real why statement. Yeah. I want it to run itself, and that'll be so that you have some time freedom. Yes. Effectively. Yes. So that is the only thing that you've said out of all the things that you've said. Sense. And you started off with that, and I do this, I'm going to do it later on, so you'll see it up on the flip chart, so I'll do it with everyone later. So where you're going to really, like, 3 times the size and a bit more here, this quality of this team needs to be listed out. So you don't put the people down, you do it as an avatar. Right. And this is very important. Okay. Because most business owners go, oh, I need Julie that they sort of know, or they need Dave that they sort of know. Okay. No, these are job descriptions of the perfect people. And then you need to write down the values of the business. Now, this culture thing is so important, because the better the culture, the more sales you get, period. If you go into a company that's got good culture, and everyone loves being there, the sales happen naturally. Okay. Yeah. So this is the culture and the values of the business. You go into a business where they've got bad culture, no one wants to be there. Like, when times are tough, then no one steers the ship in the right direction. Then lastly, who do you need to become? So we work on this be times do equals have. So what have you got to become? What have you got to do to have what you want to have? So in this situation here, £500,000 worth of profit, what have you got to do to make that happen, and what have you got to become? So, like, maybe you've got to learn more marketing, maybe you've got to learn how to manage more people. So that's that. Now, what do you want the business to look like in terms of profit when it's finished? And the culture will change from when you go over 12 people, and you're going to go over 12 people at this revenue, aren't you? Yeah. So it's usually 12 is the point where the culture breaks down. So that's why we notice it here. So where you're the owner, everyone, your culture usually, when it's owner managed, should be fantastic. Oh, we're doing it for Jill. We love Jill. She's fantastic. She really cares. As you move out, because you want to have a bit of time, freedom, you want to go on holidays, the business is burning you out, which will happen to everyone, and you're foolish to think that that won't happen. Yeah. Is when you put that next manager in, the culture will burn down, because it's not an entrepreneur running it anymore. It's run under management, and that changes. So you need to know what you need to be doing here, so basically you're reverse engineering. Your culture going to and what do you need to do? So, like, here, maybe you're doing more PR and you're writing for magazines, and to get. So you're building expertise. You know, here you're running the business, but over at this point, your job will be profile raising, going on GMTV, saying, look at these fantastic flowers and stuff like that we do. And so what we're doing here is completely reverse engineering your business. Makes sense. So when you're thinking of team, forget you employ anyone. Try your hardest. On you, like, you need to go on a Facebook. You need to get marketing courses, don't you? You need to become a marketeer. Yeah. The most successful business owners, you've got to become a marketeer of your business rather than the doer of your business. You've got to think of yourself, I'm a marketeer of florists rather than a florist. Right. Yeah, so you look at Richard Branson, marketeer, operator second. Bill Gates, marketeer, operator. You know Warren Buffett is? Yeah. Warren Buffett, like, why is he doing interviews? Why is he doing public appearance? Why is he on TV? He doesn't need to do this stuff. He's a multi-billionaire. He markets his products. I guarantee you he is going to have a can of Coke in every single interview. He owns 25% of Coca-Cola. And every interview he does, you watch, there's always a can of Coke there. Anyone comes to his office, you make sure you walk past Coca, owns 25% of Coca-Cola. Great documentary on Netflix called Being Warren Buffett. And the documentary starts of him going into McDonald's buying his breakfast. He has a McDonald's breakfast every morning. You think, oh, what's this? He owns like 9% of McDonald's shares. The guy doesn't need to do these things. You know, he knows that those, you know, there's another 20 million eyeballs looking at a Coca-Cola logo, you know, and that works for me. You know, Stelios, who owns EasyJet, you know, all the people that have gone on Dragon's Den, they're marketing their products. And the more time you spend on marketing, that, you know, and this is possible to do now. I'll talk about it loads later, but and you look lovely. You've got great, unique hair that I haven't seen before, you know, that sort of stuff. So people will remember you, and you need to leverage off of that. Yeah. And I've done it in every single one of my careers. You know, when I started Party Man, I used this alias called Jimbo that I'd went and done kids' parties.
I think I've seen you a long time ago.
Possibly, yeah. And no one ever forgot. But then when we opened our first venue, like, it was full off the back of that personal brand.
Yeah.
And you should do that. Like, you know, you need to write articles in magazines for, you know, like Bride and stuff like that, and just send them off. Like, I mean, you basically copy what I'm doing for seminars on LinkedIn and Facebook and all the, you know, I write books not to make money out of writing books. They're marketing tools. Yeah. Period. All them videos that I do, you know, it's leverage work. The great news about writing an article is it will continue to work for you. So you can put it in Bride or something like that, then slightly tweak that article and put it somewhere else.
This is what I don't understand.
You cannot write like you're sending to your doctor or head teacher or going in the Financial Times, which is most people's natural stance. I tirelessly go over headlines. So we ain't got time to do this today, but so I run this weekend course called Entrepreneurs Masterclass. The next one's in October. I spend 3 hours just going over copy, because if you get, you know, once you understand copy, you're using it on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, email marketing, you know, building how big's your database? So people that have booked from you before on funky casinos, you know, they might be having a party again next year and thought, oh, yeah, I forgot about those guys. You know, because especially in your type of business where people, like in entertainment, that's the business I run, sometimes they only transact with you once in their lifetime. So then when it gets around to their next birthday party, they've forgotten about you. They go, we need a fun casino. It's not like Sainsbury's where you're transacting with them every week. You becomes, you know, you don't need to think about where you're buying your, you know you're doing Sainsbury's. Or if you're a Tesco customer, you know you're a Tesco or a Waitrose, you know you're in that. And that's why those businesses are so valuable, because the more people transact with you, the more loyal they are. And basically, when it comes to customers, there's this thing called the rule of 4. Once someone transacts with you 4 times, they don't forget you. Okay. So once people have bought flowers from you 4 times, that's it. They are blinded to anyone else. Yeah. But the first one is, you know, then someone else can still get in and muscle in. It's the 4th time. If you go to a restaurant 4 times, so like in Westcliff, we go to this place called Alvaro's. I don't know if you know. So I love that place. Yeah, you know, it's like right bit of me. You know, and I've been there lots and lots of times. I don't think I've been to a restaurant in Essex as many times as I've been there, but they've got me over the 4. So I'm fiercely loyal of Alvaro's. That's why I love childcare, because, you know, you transact with us 4 times within your first week of using us. It's very rare that you get a business where there is so much, and that's why supermarkets, you know, people don't hopscotch between, I mean, they might every now and then, if they're away out of the town, they'd say, oh, there's a Tesco's there, let's pop in there. But, you know, usually you're a Sainsbury's customer, you're a Tesco's customer, you're an AIDA customer, or a Marks, but whatever it is, you're loyal to that brand because you transact with them regularly, and you've got to really muck up for people to. That's what I don't like about weddings and funerals. I mean, it's all right with the funeral business for you, you're being recommended by other funerals, but really they're dead, so they're never going to be able to transact with you again. And that's why I don't really like. No, that's my problem when we run our entertainment business. We do this great job for someone getting married, and we say, look, if you get divorced, can you think of us again? You know, it's like, you know, you do all this work, do a great job, and there's, you know, they're not going to. So what in your type of business, you need to have this sort of level of people that transact with you regularly, but understand. You know, that's the problem with Marsh Farm. People sometimes come to us once every 2 years. Yeah. Theme park, you know, like Disney World, Florida, you might go 3 times a lifetime, unless you live in Florida on their doorstep. But, you know, forgetting those people, I've been to Disney World in my lifetime twice. Now, I know I'll go maybe another couple of times, but it's not. No. But they do it well because they've got a global audience. You've got an audience.
And they're forever changing, aren't they? Trying to draw people in. Yeah.
Well, I think we've got some good stuff there.
I think we have too.
So for you, your homework is becoming a master marketeer.
Okay.
Don't be scared of it.
Homework. It's
Don't be
good.
scared of it. You know, read. I've got a new book coming out called Getting Customers. Well, it's imminent. It's off our desk, isn't it, Chuds? It's nothing to do with me. It's gone. We've done the book
Done your
cover,
bit.
but it's but that book will be, fantastic for you. And this analogy, think about successful people in education. Someone that goes for education says, when they're 10, they go, I want to be a vet. They're automatically ahead of the class.
Because they know what they want to do.
They know that why they're going to college, what they've got to do well in Key Stage 2, why they've got to do GCSEs to get to university. Then they know they're going to be a vet. Same with people that say, I want to be a barrister, I want to be a lawyer. And that's why I have a real problem with higher education, because most people go through it not knowing what they want to do. I'm all for it. If you can turn around and say, I want to be a doctor, crack on, my friend. Then you need to get bit. I am not all for, when I'm here just to waste time for 4 years. I mean, it drives me insane. Although this seems like, basically, if you understood this, you'd be better at Facebook ads, you'd be better at sales letters, you'd be better at emails. Everything, Chuds and I will spend 10 minutes talking about the heading, and if you don't get the heading right, it doesn't matter about what's...
Nobody will read on.
Yeah. Just doesn't matter, does it? Like when you and this goes on YouTube as well, so, do you go on YouTube much?
No.
So you've got to change that, because there's literally gold dust on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, 350 videos, tons of stuff you can learn free. Just watch one a day.
Okay.
Do you listen to podcasts?
Sometimes, yeah, TED Talks, podcasts.
You need to listen to podcasts from experienced business owners that have been there and done it. 10 minutes a day. You'll go to another level. The thing is, on YouTube, there's these what we call thumbnails, which are the little photos that, before videos. And we need to make sure they're as good as possible and to grab people into, because it doesn't matter about the content of the video if no one clicks. It doesn't matter about the content of the newspaper if no one buys it. So a newspaper can sell like 80% more copies on the strength of their headline alone. So like the Sun newspaper, they know that they sell 70% more newspapers if they do something to do with the weather, heat wave on its way, or snowfall expected. Like, people open that stuff because Brits are really into that, like they're hopeful of a heat wave, or they want to know about snow. So then the Sun knows that they're going to sell more copies, and as a result, people will read the content, buy more advertising in there, etc., etc. So when we talk about marketing, you follow this formula called AIDA: attention, keep their interest, get them to make a decision, and then A, action.
Yeah, it's me, it's closing.
So everyone's pretty all right at the middle parts, keeping their interest. Yeah, I desire to do this decision. Yeah, I like this, and then life gets in the way. The call to action is really important. So let me give you an example of call to action. So, John Lewis. Everyone knows what John Lewis is. John Lewis, closing down tomorrow, half price off everything. Now, there's a couple of call to actions there. So you've got my interest. I know what John Lewis is. Keep your interest. Decision. Yeah, I want everything at half price. Closing down tomorrow. I have to buy today. Otherwise, I'm never going, or tomorrow, or I'm never going to have a chance again. You have to think about it. Well, you don't discount. I mean, okay. So Beyonce puts her tickets on sale. 20,000 tickets on sale right now. Last time they sold out in 12 hours. Yeah, so there's two very different, but gives you the same thing. So you've got to, and when you are sold out, then you need to market you're sold out. That's why pop stars, like, even when they're sold out, they put adverts saying they're sold out. So when the next concert goes out, everyone understands, look, this is sold out, we can't mess around here. What most business owners don't do also in their emails is they don't make it clear enough on how to buy. So like on here, element, clear direction. This is where you tell them what to do. Complete this form, call this number, click the button below, create urgency, do this now, don't wait another minute, don't delay. Remember, there are only 15 places. If you go on Marsh Farms, we're doing our children's festival over the summer holidays. I wrote some copy on there. If you look at Marsh Farms Facebook, tickets are selling like hotcakes. We don't want you to get them before they sell out. So it's my metric of knowing if someone's going to be successful or unsuccessful. And I don't want to slang you off here, and I'm really not. I always go, have you got a PA? And they go, no, but I've got a VA. And I just know their mindset is they don't want to be super successful. I haven't got a VA, I've got a PA. If all of a sudden you got all that time back to go and get customers, and the pressure of paying that would turn you into a much better business owner. If you don't employ people, you'll always have a profitable job, not a profitable business. Profit, revenue, team, culture, finish date. What do you want the profit of your business to look like? I'm being hard on you because I want you to understand, like, why are you doing this? You're building a profitable job. So when you come to retire, you are selling yourself, which no one wants to buy. You need to have a commercially profitable enterprise that works without you in it. That is so crucial that you have that mindset that you're building, because you're putting all this risk of running your own business. If you get ill, what happens, etc., etc. And it's not a good responsibility to yourself. So I always say to someone, look, if this is just a pocket money job and you just want to do this to make an extra £500 a week, you crack on, you've got a little hobby business. But if this is your sole income, before every winner there was a beginner. When Walt Disney opened Disney World, didn't have any paths. You wouldn't think that, didn't have any pathways. The tarmac was still sticking people stuck to the floor of Disney on the first day it opened. You wouldn't ever think of Disney being in that situation now, would you? McDonald's was a complete and utter operational disaster once it scaled up. They sorted themselves out. But if they hadn't have scaled up, they wouldn't have sorted themselves out. McDonald's is one of my favourite companies. Not to eat in, but I look at them and I just think, damn, these guys are so on it. Like the first to do self-serve in restaurants, like boom, 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 roll out. Everyone's moaning about not having healthy food, and all of a sudden in Happy Meals you can have carrot sticks and cucumber sticks, like they're just
instant.
Everyone starts drinking coffee and they start making their branding look dark greens, and you're frustrating me now, so just do it. Start now, get perfect later. It's just when it comes to people, you have this thing called E plus M equals S, which I don't know if you've seen on any of my videos, is entrepreneurship plus management equals success. For an organisation to be successful, you need both. So let's look at politics right now. Theresa May is a strong M and has no entrepreneurial leadership traits. So people don't like her. But I always think, I want the woman to go and work. I'd love her to be my PA, because I reckon she is a dot the I's, cross the T's, very organised. Can you manage that project, Theresa? Off you go. But no one likes it because but you need management around you that's very powerful. Look at McDonald's, it's a management-led business. And then you just sometimes need an entrepreneur to go, yep, we'll work out how to do it. And then a management DNA is like, no, we can't. This is making me panic here. We've got to deliver. It's got to be good. And the entrepreneurs go, no, we can do it. We can just do it. And the manager's going, well, how? We can't just. We can. How? I want to know how we're going to do it. And then there's this problem. So if you really think about leadership and entrepreneurship, it's that this is where we're going to go. And management is how we're going to get there. And you need both. And life is these different sets of now. When you get the two, so if your husband was very entrepreneurial, or your business, and you were the strong management person, you would have a fantastic relationship because you pull and push each other, and the net result would be a fantastic thing. I would just employ a PA. So when I was 17, I didn't have any business, but I employed someone for 5 hours a day doing administration. Jean, she came and worked in my nan's spare room. My bed was there. She was a 60-year-old lady doing my admin. And I just went, no, I'm not doing it. I'm going to get customers. You can look after all. And that's when I run an entertainment business. So my mindset is different to yours. I'm employ the person, work it out later. So if I can't do it, I'm going to push myself to make sure it happens. That's entrepreneurship. Because I would just think, look at all this time I get back to push myself to go and get customers that's going to easily pay for that. And that's why people have business coaches, and big companies have non-exec directors, because a non-exec director's retired, been there before. Sainsbury's might have 6 non-execs around the ball going, well, have you thought about this? And then because we're in the box, we couldn't see. That's why I come into stuff like this. This conversation, this has probably been a big, powerful conversation for both of you. We haven't even got on to how long have we got, by the way? Hopefully, my dream for you will be that you don't worry about employing someone. If you're serious about making some money, the definition of a person that becomes successful in business is the one that just employs that first person, and it changes. It becomes a business rather than. But you need to employ the admin person as well, so that you focus on marketing. I guarantee for both of you. If you turn around and someone says to you, what do you do? And you say, oh, we're an events prop hire company. You say, I'm a florist. If you turn around and said, oh, I market my florist business, I market my, and then you got that in your head, like things are going to change. So I would, again, why don't you write a book called 101 Ways to Save Your Business Money? Well, as soon as you become an author, you're up there. You know, the word authority has author in it. There is a correlation. I would also make sure you're keynoting all the time on 10 smart ways to save your business money that you probably don't know about.
Keynote speaking.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I would do. Books, keynote speaking and video content, 30 seconds a day on LinkedIn. So I would book a videographer for a day and chop that down into 30 snippets that you can just reuse. So here, in this video, I'm going to show you one quick way of how you can save your business money. People are going to love that. If you'd really like to find out more about this, I've got a free book. Just message me and I'll send you the book. Then you've built data up. You can print a book, like my books are about £3 and send them to someone for £4.95, including the cost of the book. But if they're a hot lead, it's well worth doing. And if someone's read your book and they get that, that never goes anywhere. It's the best business card. But you want to get on more podcasts, get a book. You're not writing Harry Potter. Very difficult to do. Very difficult to do. Yeah. So you write. You prepare a keynote presentation, and you could call it 44 Ways to Save Your Business Money. That you probably don't know that you're wasting, something like that. So it's a very what's in it for you heading. So one of the most powerful words in marketing is you and yours. So you and yours, how to save your business money and then create some curiosity that I guarantee that in one of these things you would have done. So yeah. So I'll give you an example. When I used to do keynotes, it was how a clown built a £12 million business. Like people were like, I need to go and check that out, or only stupid business owners do this. That's another heading that we used. So, or only stupid business owners would ignore this. But keynote speaking, like the Essex Chamber of Commerce and stuff, are you members of all that stuff? But like if you employ a PA,
that was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, because you just, like you get all this time and it puts you under what I call positive pressure to make sure that, I've got another salary to pay here. I've got to really start putting my sleeves up and get working here. Thanks for watching the video. Really hope you enjoyed it. To help grow your business, don't forget you can watch more of my videos by clicking here. And don't forget to hit subscribe to the YouTube channel by clicking this button right here. It gets better than that because you can come and see me at one of my seminars to help grow your business. All the details of how you can get to one of those for free is in the video description.